What is that?
It's cutting edge VR, Flynn.
It looks like it's something from the future, you know?
Flynn took a trip to future London, saw something she wasn't supposed to. Now people from there are trying to kill us.
Transcend humanity with Omen.
Hello and welcome to the playoffs for the Amazon University Esports UK and Ireland for Rocket League in spring 2023. I am Solar, joined by RW Dragon. How are you doing, my friend?
Well, after last week where my internet was constantly dying and dropping, this week seems to be as good, if not better. So I'm hoping the internet holds together for some more dramatic Rocket League, because last week, heart-pounding stuff in terms of the brackets and what happened.
Yeah, a lot of game sevens in amongst there. There's only been two in these prize playoffs have been sweeps, and at bare minimum, otherwise we've gone to game six. So a lot of action and a lot of Rocket League played in that time, and I can't imagine that it's going to slow down at all. Starting out with Lincoln versus Warwick Williams Resolve. And of course, with Loughborough Rock and Tears playing at the same time, we will have that lower bracket semi-final between the winners of those two series coming in as well. So it's going to be a tasty one. I say both lower bracket series, so all to play for, or you're done.
Yeah, elimination station for every single one of the teams today on stream. Off stream, we'll have one team booking their spot in the grand finals in the upper bracket. A repeat of the lower bracket finals from last split, Roehampton versus UEA. Roehampton hoping to get a little taste of revenge to book themselves into their first Newell grand final with an absolutely monstrous roster on them. But at the moment, we'll start off this stream with an elimination match of its own. Warwick Williams Resolve facing off against Lincoln, as you said. And Warwick Williams Resolve, last week when we talked about it, myself and Orion, we talked about a team that seemed to be in a little bit of disarray in terms of their form and roster.
Yeah, it's a team that you expect to do particularly well. I mean, Treefork in the university scene, his name alone carries a lot of weight. So he had at one point sort of considered retirement, was thinking about it, going through the motions, and then all of a sudden Williams Resolve got involved, and he was like, do you know what, maybe not, maybe I can stick around for just that little bit longer. It's a team you don't really expect to see down in the lower bracket, at least not this early on. Obviously, as brackets tend to go on, you do get the occasional sort of tighter match, a little bit of an upset here and there. But, straight off the bat, it was Loughborough they did play against early on in the playoffs. But still, it's surprising to see them down here. And again, that is, at this point, a bit of a task for Lincoln themselves.
It's a task I think they're up to, though. I mean, we talked about how good Warwick can be. Zouch is a name that you haven't talked about yet as being a huge name in the university scene, formerly of Durham, the Durham Defenders, now moving to Warwick, I believe, for Masters. So he's taking all that experience he took from Durham, comes to Warwick. Sushi's there just waiting. Please give me a fantastic set of teammates after Walden has left. Lincoln, however, last week they took Roehampton, the team that we've constantly been talking about, had proven themselves in both league plays across last split, this split, both UK university tournaments. This time, Roehampton, the number one seeds, only just took down Lincoln in Game 7. It was one of our Game 7s last week. If any team can put up a performance that will beat this Warwick side, they'll completely stump them. At the moment, based on form, it is going to be this Lincoln team.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, taking Roehampton to game 7 is no small feat either. So, especially considering, say, those games have been played on the same day, you'd be looking at it and saying, Warwick's really in trouble here. And they still somewhat are. You're already looking at elimination. You're up against a team who has shown a decent level of pedigree coming in, but it's a new day. And it's all about how you start the series. That's the best sevens. That little bit longer gives you that window to come into the series and figure out what's going wrong and change it. And you've got that sort of game loss extra to make those changes opposed to a regular best of 5. But if you don't get your act together, that best of 7 can still be over in a flash. You can be done in less than an hour, and that is, for the most part, not a long time at all when you're looking at the amount of time you've put in through league play, the amount of money that can be on the cards. For that all to go away in the space of an hour is an incredible amount of pressure, and it's scary. And Warwick, again, we've said this before, not necessarily should be down here, but find themselves here either way, and they have to be able to handle that against a Lincoln team that is looking better than maybe most people would have expected.
Yeah, it's very easy to say that this Lincoln team could be the one that makes the run here. Warwick, though, they have a good setup behind them. They're in LAN. They've got Tadpole, former RLCS player. About to say Arsenal for some reason. RLCS player. But considering that quality of a player behind them, someone who knows what it's like to play at the top level, who's able to bring that knowledge to the forefront, this Warwick team can turn things around. But in the lower bracket, it's 2 series away, 2 best of 7s away from getting to finals day and coming across a team that, if they have kept their momentum going in Lincoln, is going to be formidable. And it's going to be no understatement that they are going to have a tricky time facing off against them.
Yeah, 100%. And Lincoln, not only, coming in with a track record there, but they'll be coming into this series with belief. They'll have been working right throughout the week, where and when they can, obviously, working at their studies as well. But they'll be getting their scrims in, warming up for the series, and they will be looking at the series with a genuine desire and as I say, a belief that they can come out on top here. And there's got to be a more positive outlook, at least in that camp, than there would be in Warwick's at the moment. So we could well see that, especially in the early stage of the series, where it's more so the first, I'd say, 2 games that are really going to give us an idea of how this will shape up. Not that, you win 2 games, that's you won the series. There's still, you've got to do it the same again, and teams welcome back, and sorry for that. Finchie's having a little bit of internet trouble. Doesn't matter how much he harasses the staff at his internet supplier. Some things, just can't really be done. But we are back. Test lobby still underway, so not any gameplay lost to that fact, but some interesting conversation from ourselves is now in the void and will never be seen again. So thanks for that, Finchie.
But I tell you what, it does give us a moment to reset. Finchie, I believe we have a bracket graphic up. So we have talked about this quickly. Both these teams have a 2-series route to Grand Finals Day. That lower bracket match, that all-important lower bracket match, is their route to an absolutely famous appearance in the Grand Finals. So, as you can see at the top of the bracket, Roehampton versus UEA Blue Jays. That will be off stream. All the drama from that one will be crumbling and falling down to the lower bracket, which will be on Finals Day. In terms of our streams, Game 10 and Game 11, so that's Lincoln A versus Warwick Williams. And then the other unstreamed side, the stream that will go out of the competition in silence, is Rock End Tears and Loughborough Lions. But quickly, Solar, take a look at those roads to the final. It's a tricky little route that Warwick Williams has taken.
Yeah, it's not an easy run because, again, it's another team that we maybe weren't quite expecting down here with Loughborough Lions. Again, they did come up against UEA, so that's always a tasty matchup between those two. But I think, a good 67% of the time, you're expecting Loughborough to come out on top with that one. So they're down there, and Kent, to my understanding, are playing with a substitute tonight as well. It's a hard ask for them. And then, whoever comes out on top of this one, already joined Lincoln, who have, as we said, gone to Game 7 with Roehampton, and then probably, I'm going to say, facing Loughborough Lions in the next round, and then having to play either one of Roehampton or UEA in that lower bracket final to get to the grand final. It is quite the gauntlet they've got for themselves.
Yeah, both these teams will have hated the fact that they lost their well, in terms of Warwick's, their opener against Loughborough. In terms of Lincoln, I'm not sure how much they will be ruining their loss against Roehampton, but it's still, like you say, this is a gauntlet in this lower bracket. It's winner takes all, and the all in this case is just a spot with a chance to bracket reset the team that got into the grand finals with the quickest route. But we've done with the test lobby. Finally, after a delay, we are about to start Newell Week 6, as it is, I believe.
Your guess is as good as mine on that one. It's the playoffs. By this point,
the beginning of the end.
Happened before just doesn't really matter. This is where it's tasty. This is where it really starts to come down to the all-important Rocket League. Anyone that's already out is, at this point, not worth the conversation. But Lincoln A, Warwick Williams, Resolve, two teams vying for a place in the lower bracket semi-final, only one of which can do so, of course, and a best of 7 coming up to settle the matter. All so vital that they really start on the front foot here. As we said, it is a little bit more of a window than a best of 5, but best of 7 can still be over in 45 minutes to an hour. It's not a lot of time.
Lincoln have been on one of the beneficiaries of a 4-0 sweep, one of the beneficiaries of a 14-minute series that took them to their matchup and eventual defeat against Roehampton. On the other side of the things, we have this Warwick Williams Resolve who fought back against their opponents Lancaster with a 4-2 win to get themselves in this spot. But the road to the grand finals, the road to the finals day, starts now again for both these teams as Zouch brings it forward, and Misty once again sends it straight back to the halfway line, and it's still, once again, it is Lincoln trying to find the angle. Can't be found, but they're the ones on the front foot to start off with. The Warwick Williams Resolve will have to keep up with this play and find a way past this incredible offense that Lincoln are putting on.
long ball forward touched into the corner. Taken away there by Missy. Still awkward though, they've not quite been able to work this one away. Missy again, it just gets that interception, bows to play. It's out of their half. Eventually breaking down. The first real chance did come for Lincoln. The angle on the double tap, just a little bit too tight, infield pass.
Oh, that's good play.
Is intercepted and taken away.
That is good play on both sides of the ball. Good offense, good challenge at the midfield, and good play from Sushi, staying calm and always finding a way and counter-attacks again to the net. What about Souch? Played away by DK to the halfway line, and Sushi once again playing it towards net. This Warwick side do look like they have put things together. This Sushi guy is not half bad, I would say. Bows towards net, blocked away by Zouch, the former Durham defender, putting that second part of the name to good use. Still stuck in the halfway line. Dis playing upfield. Bows trying to send it away. Sushi making the challenge. It's a good play from Warwick. They have put Lincoln, who originally playing very well on the front foot offensively, and now it's Warwick doing a little bit better. Sushi calmly on the back line, taking it past DK, taking it past one. Has his net to shoot on, takes a shot, and Bows will play it away. No real danger there other than maybe a little bit of a demo. Bows in towards net. Zouch again played away. And both teams looking very impressive to start off with, but not lacking that final touch in the last part of the pitch to find the goal in the opener.
Something that is normally the case in the early stages of game number one. It's just that tentative approach. It's shots to test the keeper, see what they're made of, see what you can get away with. Sushi out of the corner, out of nothing, has gave Warwick a lead here.
Sushi's been absolutely cutthroat on offense. He's been just ferocious, going after everything that Lincoln are trying to defend. And it's those decisions that Sushi is making that actually earned them that goal. Stayed on the ball, stayed attacking. Lincoln didn't have enough time to get rid of it. Finds the tight angle and scores. This over the top of two, and Zouch, what a play from Warwick. We talked about how they started this playoff bracket with not their full strength, just not really playing together as a team, but now Warwick Williams Resol come alive.
Yeah, it's a lovely little air drag into the centre of the pitch. Nicely picked up, and 2 goals in 9 seconds puts Warwick in the driving seat of game number one. And they're on hunt for a quick third here. This with a shot. It's low down. It's drawn one in, but turned away by DK in the end. Zouch just meets that one a little too early, but no one contests, no one challenges, and it's 3 goals to the good.
Once again, that comes from Sushi just being ferocious and going after everything that Lincoln are trying to do. They were trying to go for a calm play with under control to play it upfield. Sushi says, nah, way too slow for me, and sends it away with one big clearance. And Zouch has about 20 minutes to put that one in. Talking of 20 minutes, Dis had 20 minutes to put that one in. 1:59 to go, Warwick are up 4-0.
What was an even game for the first half has very quickly fallen apart for University of Lincoln. In a matter of 33 seconds, they've conceded 4 goals in game number one, and they just look stunned. It's almost as if they haven't recovered from Sushi's corner shot, and there's no response, there's nothing. It is all Warwick Williams Resolve at the moment. Sushi goes searching for a fit.
Just been absolutely sucker punched 3 times by Sushi, challenging constantly by Zouch coming through, and once again here comes another one. They're just not ready for that one as Sushi flies in. This Lincoln team looked so positive last week, just floundering at the moment when it comes to the defense.
Yeah, flat-footed, slow to the challenges, and ultimately getting beaten as a result. And they were almost on for a 6th there. Warwick Sushi just not quite reading the pop, but the kickoff did go their way. Bows, pre-flips at it, comes back out of the base of the post. Down by 5 at this point. Game probably already wrapped up, but still not one to even take for the road. Not much of a consolation so far. Nothing to boost the confidence either, as they're just getting pounded into submission.
Well, I'm a big believer in what you can do in half the game. The other team can also do back, so be wary. But I think all those goals happened in about 40 seconds, 50 seconds. We were past that mark, so yeah, Lincoln, as much as they might get this lovely consolation goal, I think within 47 seconds this might be just about out of reach. So game one, well, I'll put a might have in front of this, but has gone by. Solar, what is going on with this Lincoln team?
Just astounded, I think. Again, that shot from Sushi to open us up was so, out of.
Oh, go on.
He's already up.
Go on.
Oh. There's not quite prepared to let anything come of that one. They're going to try and hold as much
what a
of a
play.
lead as they can. Well, I don't know how that's gone. 30 seconds, 3 goals. Now that's something that Warwick did manage. So still on the cards here for Lincoln. Thought they were out of time, but a little bit of a defensive mishap gives Lincoln just the slightest of routes back in. It may be a treacherous one off the edge of a cliff face, really, but it's a route nonetheless.
If I've learned anything from a certain Irish caster who may or may not be watching, it's don't bet your facial hair with the team to play the last few seconds to score a certain amount of goals. I think I'll be just about safe in saying it now, but I learned not to say it in the time. As Warwick Williams Resolve have started off this series very strong indeed. They'll find another goal off the back of a Lincoln mistake, but at 0 seconds, 6 goals to 2 in this game one. It's been oh so easy for this Warwick side. For about a minute of that entire game, a fifth of that game, they scored almost all those goals.
Well, yeah, it was indeed. It was what? I'm just trying to look through my notes here. That comes to 59 seconds those goals were scored in. So you're looking at a goal every 12 seconds in, as you say, 20% of that game. And then a consolation, well, not a consolation, but a buzzer beater that really didn't mean anything, but kind of just left that final mark, that stamp that says Warwick Williams Resolve on it. In that game, number one, but Lincoln looked so comfortable for that first half, and then it just fell apart in a spectacular fashion.
It is very difficult to say that Lincoln played badly throughout the first 3 or so minutes of that game. They weren't playing that bad. They were playing very much level to the quality that Warwick were putting on. It's just that during that opening time, they didn't find the goal. And when Warwick found it, when it rains, it pours. They just sort of started playing. They knew how Lincoln were going to challenge the ball. And they managed to get past 5 times during that short minute that was played out. I just moved my mouse as I was going to click spectate.
Do you know what? I did the exact same thing 10 seconds ago and went, oh, no, wait, that's not going to work. We are, of course, being broadcast the gameplay through Parsec, and it is it's providing the feed for us in this game on Insider is how it's working behind the scenes. But yeah, no, I had the exact same mental process, and it's maybe just throwing everyone for a loop. And Lincoln certainly seemed to have been run round the ringer a bit in game number one. Try to start on the front foot again here in game number 2. Bows does get that ball first, but not able to drop it into an area for DK to follow up on. Managed to get a decent little pop. Another one here from Missy. Shot on this will save to the corner. Plays it slow. Can't quite carry it out. They're a little bit high pressed here. Sushi is out. Are too close together. Shot. Barely.
It's there.
But it's awkward again.
It's still there.
The pressure's still off.
It's still there for this Lincoln side. They need to find one. Warwick is a little bit of a mess right now. This opening minute has definitely gone the way of Lincoln, and they almost got their just desserts there. That would have put the cherry on top of what would have been a fantastic opener. Here comes Zouch, trying to get past Misty, but that's blocked out. Sushi comes in to help out his teammate as that's played away back up into the Warwick half. DK played away. This looking for the backward touch. Bows will take that away. Zouch trying to get the touch onto the ball to take it away from the opposing numbers. As Warwick once again has a bit of a breakaway. DK in the last second comes in and locks out Sushi. 3:20 to go. And Warwick now completely reversing the fortunes of the opening minute. Try and find an opener themselves. Won't find it off that. What about Dis? Off top corner. No, not finding that. Can Sushi find a drop down? No, he can't. We've had pretty much equal possession averaged over the last 2 minutes, as Lincoln couldn't find an opener in their ferocious offense. Neither could Warwick there.
Yeah, parallels to game number 1 as well, where it was Lincoln that started on the front foot, and slowly but surely Warwick gained footing in the game. We're starting to get towards that time where the first goal went in game number 1, 2:32 it was. Warwick just not quite at the right end of the field yet for that chance. Maybe comes here, but cleared away by Bows. So they've got through that first minute this time without conceding. It's all about turning that into pressure of their own, creating the chances and putting themselves in the lead. Because as I say, when that goal goes in, did seem to cause them problems. It's 15 seconds later than game number 1. Zouch there to finish it off. Good work from this to get across net. DK just can't quite get the touch to clear.
Last game it was Sushi putting in the absolutely filthy 50-50s that rung them game 1. This time it was Dis coming in with one that just lent it the ball to just move across net and be easily put away. This Lincoln side find themselves one down again. Dis looking for a second pass, a second assist. DK upfield, missed out on the save last time, but he is helping his team by pushing it upfield this time. Bows towards the backboard. That'll drop down. Zouch getting a touch out to Sushi. In fact, takes it himself. Over one. Can't get it past Bows though. DK looping round. Can't get it past Dis. This is good defense while on offense. A funny little skill that Rocket League has is being able to hold off any plays, any transition, whilst keeping on offense, keeping those chances going. That stays at the midfield line. 1:20 to go. Zouch in towards the centre, blocked out by Bows. Lincoln, I would say, need to find one goal during the next few seconds. But as I say that, Sushi can't find one. Last minute to go, Solar. Lincoln needs a little bit of magic, as Bows almost provides.
Yeah, trick just not quite coming up there. Rabbit a little bit too deep into the hat for the reach of Bows. Misty trying something similar, much further out. Didn't quite have the drive forward. Bows with a shot, and there's the equaliser. 49 seconds to go. Lincoln survive a little bit of pressure. Nothing like game number 1. Get themselves back to all square.
Very quickly made the most of Warwick's just slight rotation mistakes. I'll say Lincoln's also has another thing to their name, and that is they are really good at drawing teams out. Really good at drawing this Warwick team into their plays and giving themselves opportunities, kind of just like how they did there, just bumped off the play, and good 50-50 gives them the opportunity. DK trying to get past Sushi, gets a shot, blocked out by Sushi, that's still blocking it, dropped it in front of net. This will keep it away. Bows in towards the centre as it comes off the backboard. Up goes DK, blocked out and dropping down, and here comes Misty. Zouch a little bit too slow for that. Second touch, there! Misty with a flip reset, makes it 2-1 to Lincoln.
Can hold out, you can get those chances to get forward, you give yourself that opportunity, and what a shot that is from Misty. The flip reset into the double tap, nothing that this can do but watch. Front row view on that one, and 2-1 to Lincoln. 18 seconds to go. They're gonna look to make it 3 as Bows carries this forward, and a challenge there. I think it's Sushi that makes contact, pops it up over the top of Zouch, and 7 seconds after that second goal, it looks like Lincoln are going to take game 2.
Not quite as successful of a smash and grab that we saw from Warwick last game, but I'll tell you what, they'll take the game to equalise the series. Last few seconds to tick down. Warwick out of possession, out of luck in this second game, as that will drop. Game 2 going to Lincoln. And we are tied up on the series. We are back to a best of 5 solo.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like we were saying, coming into the series, it's all about the response in game number 2, how you deal with the game 1 loss. And in Lincoln's case, a pretty scathing game 1 loss. They started on the front foot in that game, couldn't find a way through, and Warwick did get their opener with 2:17 left on the clock, but it was all Lincoln after that. They pushed, they were patient, they waited for their opportunity. Bows with that equalizer, and they just looked comfortable from there. It was all Lincoln, as I say, in the second half of that game. They got their just rewards. They have tied up this series. Game 3 coming up on DFH Stadium, all to play for in the best of 7.
Just saw it in the background of the highlights of that last series. DK had an insane recovery to get back to one of the clearances from Sushi. Just wanna drop that because we didn't quite steer on the broadcast, but on the highlights it just showed how tricky of a situation he got out of. That's pretty much describes that game 2 for Lincoln. They got themselves into a tricky situation by conceding 1. They got back into it, Zouch almost finding a way past early. Got back into things and they just made it magical. Sushi for a teammate. Does find Dis just about, but he is bumped away. Here's an opportunity for Lincoln to take possession. Up comes Misty. He has another touch on towards the backboard. That's dropping towards the center. Misty has a shot. One-man army. Lincoln up by 1.
I did not think Misty had that on. Fantastic touch, take it middle, but I didn't think he was going to be able to get round that to slot that bottom corner. Well, I was proven wrong. So was the defense of Warwick Williams Resolve, taking just 34 seconds for the first goal in game number 3, the quickest that we've seen a goal come through in this series so far. And I wonder if that was that preset change. I think he started in a French Fennec, that just simply anodized pearl loop, and then he changed it for an esports decal in game number 2 back to the anodized Fennec.
Musty.
I noticed Bows is now an Octane as well, so a bit of a mentality shift, maybe a reset from Lincoln, and it appears to have paid off for them.
Has done so. Bows has an opportunity. Could try and find a way past Dis. It's not creative enough in the last section, but I tell you what, it is enough. I say not creative enough. Did force that save. Just as I was saying towards the end of that last game, Lincoln are so good at those simple shots that just take Warwick out of position.
Yeah, 100%, and that is another one that you need to sort of look at. It's sometimes those times where it's a player who racks up a lot of shots, but doesn't get many goals, and the biggest example I can think of is that with J-Naps, I believe. He had the lowest shooting percentage, I believe, in the RLCS at one point, but the highest assists. So he's putting them on target, he's putting them very, very close, and just allowing teammates to follow up. That's what's happened there with that shot from Bows. DK to follow, gets the goal, and it's looking really good for Lincoln. Again, this recovery from such a brutal game 1, a 6-2 loss, 5 goals in under a minute. You would never have guessed it with the way that they're playing at the moment. Full of confidence, and rightly so, 2-0 up and searching for a third.
To be fair, I think the difference between game 1 and these last 2 games have been Lincoln have been much better in the last sector of the pitch. The last few touches that would get you the goal. In the first game, they had the opportunities, they built them up. They just didn't find the net until the easy opportunities that Warwick just sort of let slip at the end. This time they have built the opportunities, created them, and then they followed through the last touch that they need to put it in the back of the net. And I think that the last 2 goals, the 2 goals we've had this game, have been the epitome of that mindset of just following through and finding the last thing he needs to put it in the back of the net. And Warwick, they've been struggling a little bit. We are starting to see what Warwick might have been lacking during their time this season to find themselves in this lower bracket. And they need to find that magic. They need to find that muster in this game, in this series, because at the moment it is very quickly slipping away from them.
Being beaten by fortitude in simplicity at the moment.
Oh,
It might not be
Bows.
so simple. Bows, that was going in. South did a fantastic read on the double, but the setup was something special too. Unfortunate not to see that one go through. A little bit of Warwick experience coming out there to deal with it. Still down by 2, still caught in their own half. Finally breaking out Souch and a touch to Sushi. Takes it away from this. Might have had a shooting angle there. It looked as though just for a moment Lincoln had been caught out. That was on target. It's as good as a goal not to be. They're a little bit desperate for this, though half the deficit as it stands. Demo on DK from Zouch, but it's still too slow. They've not got enough going. Finally finds Sushi, popped up into Zouch and cleared in the end. A minute to go now, still down by 2. Warwick at the wrong end of the field.
Very much so. Lincoln, we hoping to tick down this last minute very, very easily, and that has almost made it extremely easy. DK almost finding that it's still in the Warwick half. Bows up along the midfield line towards the sideboard, looking for the pinch and towards centre. Won't find the pinch, does find the pass. Misty to the backboard. Can he find another touch? Yes, he can. Into the middle disc, keeping it away from a flying DK. Still 30 seconds to go. Lincoln do need to be careful. This Warwick team could find the goal 2 times in the last 2 seconds. It finds its way to Dis. DK gets in the way. It's been a heroic performance from DK in this game, and in fact the last game. And just so I was complimenting, ends up whipping that blade, but no one from Warwick to follow through and find the net off that miss. 5 seconds. Solar, we are seeing Lincoln really make a name for themselves. They are taking out the team that made it to the grand finals in the last split. Fortunately, he lost in a bracket reset. This time, they might be going out sooner.
A lot sooner as well, not in the way that they would have liked. Lincoln now 2 games away from the lower bracket semi-final to play either Loughborough Lions or Rocketeers. That game, of course, ongoing off stream, along with what will be the Roehampton AUE Blue Jays game to decide who will go to the grand final, who will be waiting in the lower bracket final for one of 4 teams. But Lincoln, so very impressive in that one. I just say it was simple, it was straightforward, and it worked beautifully for them. 9 shots on net and had to make 5 saves at their own end as well. And when Warwick did get forward, it seemed sluggish. There was no real plan. It was all a little too route one at times, and they've really got to find a response to what was, again, can't stress enough, an incredible game number 1 for them. They've never really got going since.
Did they run out of stamina from sprinting that game 1 performance? Can they find a way back into this series? They are just down 2 games to 1. I think we act like they're so far behind this series, but it's only 1 game. 1 game can tie everything up. This Lincoln team just looks so good the last 2. I think they've run away with it the entire time. Sushi attacking on the back line. This time it's Warwick who take possession at the start of this game. Zouch can't find a clean cut shot. That's played away. Dis kind of trying to catch Lincoln off guard, and he does. Warwick kick things off in game 4 with quite the counter of a goal.
Yeah, it seems to come out of nothing. Just an overextension on the behalf of Lincoln, and Dis with the vision to do something about it. And yeah, it's a strange goal to see Lincoln again with a preset change. I'm not entirely sure the suit on that Octane is doing him any favours. In field from Misty.
No, that's
and
not
DK
the touch.
Does get that one on target. It needs to be further away from South. This probably needs to respond to this a little bit better as well. Just too slow and all tied up after their hard work in the early stages.
Dis out of position. Zouch just not quite finding the clearance. Big update mid-game. The winner of this series will be facing Loughborough in the next round. Question is, Can Lincoln see out the last 2 games they need? Or Warwick gonna come back into this bounce, keeping Sushi out. Warwick attacking again, but no one playing in for that. It's probably a smarter choice, a little bit too far. They don't want to overcommit again. Sushi looking for the breezy flick in towards the center. Double commit to that. Dis has a shot. Trying to find a pathway to Zouch to drop it down. Nothing going that way. 3:30 to go. Warwick still on offense, just about holding things off from Lincoln, but it's not really threatening. It does move towards the center now, but that's very simple to deal with for DK. It's a very relaxed defensive structure at the moment for Lincoln, and they might counter and score. Zouch gets in the way.
Yeah, very quick to transition downfield. Seems for the most part they've had their rotations unlocked since the early stage of game number 2, barring of course that mistake that led to the opener.
Oh, Misty! Oh, Misty!
Mistake two, unable to recover for the third, but it's one of those mental things that's got to start playing on the mind of Warwick that Misty has so comfortably breezed.
Oh,
Bows!
Bows!
A big commit. Bows quickest to the ball, but for me that's another Warwick mistake punished.
2 overcommits, 2 challenges that don't go their way, and all of a sudden it's in the back of the net. Bowers being the one-man army that Misty was in the last game, find the net. And here we go again. It is Lincoln with the lead. This time only 1 goal separating them, but it's still Warwick making mistakes. DK through, gets the goal. That is a second one for him.
DK with just a little bit too much time to pick his spot. There's a big miss on the backboard from Des. Susi trusting that is covered, comes down, can't get back to the shot. In 6 seconds, this tied up game is very quickly slipped away. Bows! Oh,
no!
That was just a little bit too close. The save comes out. Another
it's
one
still
as well.
there.
This is still awkward. It will be a goal back. Defense at the moment not up to par for either team. That is a good save from Misty, but really should have been dealt with a lot earlier.
I think we can say that for both teams, but that is a better sign from Warwick. I mean, last game, or 2 games ago at least, we saw something very, very similar to that Warwick didn't make up for. This time, they did put in the numbers, they did overcommit, but if it's overcommitting to get a goal, it's full well deserving. Full well have to. 2 minutes to go. Dis having another shot. Bowles coming with the squishy save, blocked away. DK having to rush in and make the stop. And again, Bowles coming for the back post, blocking out any touch from this Warwick side. Still hovering midfield. Big block on Dis. Keep the shot away from him. Zouch towards the corner. Plays it back. Sushi will take control on towards the backboard. Trying to find the bump on DK. Put it in front of net. Won't find it. Zouch again coming in with the cross. And nothing there for Warwick. Lincoln. There's a little bit of a mistake. There's a great pounce for Sushi, and that's found the net. Disappointing for Lincoln. Disgraceful from Sushi, and Dis finds the net.
Just unrelenting the physicality on Misty there. He just can't quite recover back to the shot. Faced 2 bumps. Still found himself in net, but just had a little too much momentum carrying him towards the near post. Unable to make the save. 3-3 scoreline. Bows looking to turn things back in Lincoln's favour. Ran out of boost. Sushi with the save. It's not a great touch on Missy. DK's beaten by this. A lot of boosts in the tank, but not enough time to catch and clear. Zouch putting pressure on. Turns with the boost in the corner. Goes up high. Looks for the double. DK just a fine margin quicker to that one to stop it from completely falling apart. From 3-1 up at one point, it's back to 3-3. They're facing all the pressure at the moment. Pressure makes diamonds. But is this Lincoln team already made of carbon? We're about to find out. Bows looks for that sidewall. Redirect shot
Misty.
from Misty.
Oh,
Turned away by Des. 2 players putting him under pressure. Stays calm, turns it away, but it's all Lincoln now. Zouch Pass the pot by, Missy looking for the pass to Bows, not enough boost in the tank, and cleared by Dis. 20 seconds now. Silver gold territory at minimum could be looking at our first overtime of the evening.
Misty over one, blocked by Sushi, still hovering dangerously around the Warwick area. DK towards the sidewall, up towards Dis, that is blocked away. Bows can't find the touch, still kept in the air. There's the overtime, there's the countdown. Who has the ice? Who has the skill? And at the moment, if this was a chance before the start of overtime, I would have said Warwick. They looked absolutely amazing towards the end of that game. As Dis, moment just AFK there, I think. Couldn't find the controller. But now the game has reset. I think Lincoln have a huge opportunity to find the net straight off kickoff. Zouch faking it and leaving Sushi to make the play. Dangerous option, but it has worked out as that is once again hovering over Lincoln. Misty, the shots on target. Sushi's caught out. Lincoln find the net and are up 3-1 in the series.
Yeah, it's an element of fortune there for DK, but what's not fortunate is Missy reading that one. He's the quickest respond in the right place, right time. You make your own luck here. Lincoln 3-1 up in this best of 7, one game away from not only the semi-final in the lower bracket, but from eliminating Warwick Williams Resolve from the playoffs in spring 2023. First game that went to overtime. The first game that really felt close. A back and forth struggle. A tug of war, really, in game number 4. And it's Lincoln that has Warwick hanging on the edge here.
I'm good at this, the reading the game thing. I did point out that I didn't say it, but I had a feeling that if Lincoln were going to score in regulation time, it was going to be a counter. Warwick looked phenomenal on offense. They looked very, very good. Hopefully they can channel this energy to this elimination game. But thanks to that overtime, it just reset everything. Lincoln had an opportunity, and they took it. Once again, we have a reset. Lincoln almost scores off it as we start this all-important Game 5. Either Lincoln, they move on, they will face Loughborough, or we will have Warwick making this series just drag out a little bit longer. A little bit of determination, a little bit of skill, we could be there.
That's the question. What are Lincoln made of? It did seem to be carbon. Now, Warwick, what are you made of? Glass at the moment. It's fragile. Barely in this series after what was an incredible start for them. They looked bulletproof, but now cracked. Broken, barely clinging on. DK goes up high, no boost, just drops, gets a little bit too much on it to miss the ball.
Oh, Bows!
Oh,
what a save!
Oh, it was on target, and Sushi this time there.
Oh,
Look at the
what a play!
Oh, DDP! Bows creating all sorts of problems, not allowing Warwick any time or space, and Misty puts Lincoln into the lead. They're that bit closer.
Cool and Kim Bowser with the amount of chaos he's producing. Just two emphatic shots on target that are just pushed away by Warwick. And then thank you for Dis for complying with that rule too. Very, very much appreciated, but unfortunately it has put them back down. Bows getting out, winning the 50-50. DK pushed away, that's finished in front of the net. Misty has to turn around and get there. Dis just going a little bit too early to try and find the net, just a little bit too desperate. Sushi trying to find Dis. Dis just about keeping it away from DK, giving them a little bit of an opportunity to keep it away from their own net. Bows, shot, just can't find the top corner. Misty in towards net, that might be going in. No, DK is back in time. Lincoln have an opportunity again moving forward. They have so much confidence. They exude it from every single thing they're doing. But I tell you what, Warwick are equal to them. They're putting together some good passing plays, putting together some good pressure. This is an absolutely amazing Game 5 after the kind of games we've had where it's been super one-sided. I'm so glad these last 2 games, the one before this and now, they're so equal.
A little bit careful that confidence doesn't become arrogance. It's the Misty free jumping off the ceiling for a touch from DK, leaving Bows in a temporary 1 versus 3. They've got away with it. Can't be doing that too much more often. Only up by a goal. Of course, up 2 games in this series, and as it stands, we'll be taking it in a 4-1 fashion. The only 4-1 series that will have happened in the playoffs so far. That's a whip from Sushi. Zouch back to deal with it. Carries high. DK brilliant challenging on this. Can pinch clear, but only as far as the halfway line. Misty's touch by Zouch. Sushi will clear it for 2 minutes now. Looking for a response now from Warwick. That's all the time that they have left. They can't create something. DK with a beat. Warwick nowhere to be seen, and Lincoln 2 goals up.
This just happens so consistently of Warwick just being drawn out into plays they cannot win, they cannot get the better of, and Lincoln have made the most of it. Almost every single time, almost every single occasion, we see a huge counter and Warwick gets scored upon by this Lincoln team. They've been so good, they've been so aggressive. At the same time, there's been moments, it's felt like moments that Warwick, surely they get back into this, surely they find the net, but they just don't put together the opportunity to do so. And Lincoln end up running away with things. It's been one of those series that on the surface you think, oh, that's been a runaway for Lincoln, but in reality, watching this game, it has been extremely close. With 1 minute 28, Warwick is starting to build something again as they pass it between each other and find the net from Dis. Top shelf, what a shot.
Beautifully finished off a lovely little intricate passing play in the midfield. Lincoln couldn't get close, and it pulls Warwick closer to them. DK with a flip reset. It was wide of the mark. Still maybe requires a little bit of help to clear from Dis. Zouch pops high, gets a 50-50 on Misty, who has to come down from the back where the way his car is facing. It doesn't quite help Lincoln clear out. He's taking a lot of boost here. DK will clear, but setting up shot on the halfway line is Zouch. Drops the Sushi shot. Tame on a keeper as well. Bows forced to make a double save here. Sushi trying to bump, put pressure on. That's a double commit. A big one in the air. They will go unpunished for the time being, as Lincoln still not quite at their odds and ends. And Bows with a shot. It's out of nothing. Turns, does Zouch, doesn't recognise one where the shot's coming from, and 2 where Sushi is. They're back to square one. They have a lot less time. It was 1:56. It's now 40 seconds to come back from 2, or Warwick are done for the spring split in Newell.
Here's the drama that this double elimination bracket brings with it. Lincoln, they lead, they are comfortable. They do not have to do anything extreme, but of course it's Lincoln. They're going to keep going. They're going to keep pressing. They have an important match against Love-Related. They want to try some things out. This Warwick side will be trying to stave that off. Zouch, pushed away by Vows. Here comes DK. That's going to run away again. That might go in. No, off the post. Vows will have to clear things up. Zouch in away. The last few seconds. And that is just unlucky. That is just incredibly unlucky. But that is the nail in the coffin. Warwick, thank you for coming to the spring split. That you've been eliminated. Lincoln, they will be marching on.
Misty getting some points on the board there. Clearing Bows out of the way for that one. 4-1 in game 5. 4-1 to Lincoln. They have come out. They've recovered from a battering. They are bruised, covered in bandages, but ultimately winners in the end. And maybe not telling the full story of the series there, a 4-1 scoreline, but you can't say that Lincoln didn't deserve that one. They move on to the lower bracket semi-final, and they will be playing Loughborough Lions in that round for a shot at either Roehampton or UEA. That series, as far as I'm aware, still ongoing and yet to see a result from there. But of course, the lower bracket final, not quite ready to go. We'll be playing that one another day.
For now, we'll be going to a break. Do not go anywhere. There is still more Newell drama to come. See you then.
What is that?
It's cutting edge VR, Flynn.
It looks like it's something from the future, you know?
Flynn took a trip to future London. Saw something she wasn't supposed to. Now people from there are trying to kill us.
Transcend humanity with Omen.
Hello and welcome back to Playoffs. I'm Solar, joined by RW Dragon, and we've just seen Lincoln take down Warwick Williams, resolve 4-1 in the lower bracket. They've bought themselves another somewhat life here, but still elimination stages for both teams come up against Loughborough Lions now, and it's got another big test for this Lincoln team.
Absolutely massive one indeed. I mean, Loughborough being on a bit of a roll. They had an easy game last time with the Kent team that were limping a little bit. They still have Matty Mumu intact, but they were limping a little bit on the other side of things with a substitute, well, a second string substitute having to come in to fill out the roster. Almost a perfect sweep. But Loughborough just about denied that. And this Lincoln team, very, very tough matchup with Warwick that they managed to see off. They took their chances. They had their opportunities, managed to finish everything off just fine to book themselves a spot in this round.
Yeah, we expected, I think, a little bit of a closer series, and the series scoreline doesn't, of course, tell the full story. Warwick with a 6-2 win in game number one, 5 of those goals all coming within the space of a minute. And in game number 4 as well, going to overtime. But otherwise, Lincoln seemed in control for lengthy periods of that series, but it definitely felt like Warwick were sort of the architects of their own downfall at times.
Yeah, that we said it. I said it during the break. A lot of the time, Warwick just seemed to wander out of their own goal. They didn't go for the offense that they really should have, and just left things open for Lincoln to counter. And so, on some occasions, Lincoln managed to pass their way around and go in that way. They had quite a few absolutely fantastic goals that earned them the series win. Question is, can they do this again to Loughborough, a team that is not quite as defensively lackadaisical sometimes as the Warwick side that came previously? A little bit more structured, a little bit better rotations, especially around the midfield. That's the Loughborough way of holding the midfield line that's been passed through generations of students ever since Matt M graced his presence across both the UK university competitions. And now it is this generation's Stamina, Crookie, and Turblo who hold the keys for this Loughborough side in this competition.
Turbo is just going to be one of those names that I know I'm going to flub. It's you want to say Turbo, and then that L's in there, and it makes you feel like you've flubbed the word Turbo. But no, that's how it's pronounced. There's always one in a series. Just gotta make it that little bit more of a difficult job for ourselves. Both teams are ready for this best of 7, so I think we should get them on to Manfield Night and get this lower bracket semi-final underway. It's going to be Lincoln in the blue, Loughborough in the orange for this one. And again, it's this tall order, 7 potential games to be played, but can be all over in 4. Gets us going. Missy pick up in the back corner, nearly gets past Turbo. Mouse 50-50 loses quite significantly to Cruzy. Both getting a feel for each other. Some strong challenges flying in. A demo on Missy means that DJ has to get a vital touch. Turned it on net too, but yeah, easy for Cookie to deal with. Another demo on DJ from Turbo. Trying to get physical early on here, Loughborough.
It's not quite working. Lincoln managed to find their way past as Bowers scores the opening goal. That is great offensive play. They've used the mentality that Sushi had towards them in the last game and just did not let Loughborough have a good, clean touch of the ball to find a way clear. Both these teams running the gauntlet after they drop down from the upper bracket semi-finals, and at the moment Lincoln are having the more spectacular showing as they took down Warwick on stream last time. Just in this one. Loughborough having a little bit of an easier time against the Kent team, but you can't say that both of them didn't struggle when it came down to that upper semi-finals where both teams had tough orders to beat. But Loughborough definitely came the closer as Stamina opens the scoring for the Loughborough side after a fantastic recovery.
Yeah, it's a really good recovery, but you have to say a little bit of an overextension from Lincoln in the end. Made it all too easy for Stamina to root that one away. Looks for a second of the kick-off, going to be double tap here by Bows. Out from Brookie, sneaks it way past Missy at the front post, and it's all of a sudden turned around 2-1 to Loughborough.
Almost all three of the Lincoln side committing to that corner. And Loughborough will make the most of that. Sometimes it's the simple plays that'll learn you the goals. Exactly the mindset that Loughborough are taking into this matchup. Up into the air, Stamina blocking that one out. 3 minutes 30. Tick down. Misty, the backboard. Touch into the centre, bounces up, takes the pass, another one, gets the commit out of Stamina, but it's still too back. That's not quite going to work out on this team as it did against Warwick. This is a much more regimented team in terms of the defense, in terms of the rotations. This Loughborough side have thrived upon almost perfect rotations when it comes to University Rocket League, all put together and passed through the many generations of students that passed through that hallowed society and Rocket League team. DK, shot, just on target. Bowers going for the demo play in towards centre, linking it towards middle. Misty to the back post. There's Bowers, the shot on target. Stamina doesn't get in the way enough, and it's a tied game.
Just a little bit too hot to handle there from Bowers. Great drop from Misty. They've committed everything to that one. Kitchen and sink included, being rewarded. Can't keep doing that, might not get away with it so often. Loughborough just a little bit stretched on defense this time around. A well taken opportunity nonetheless. All tied up in game number 1. A far more even game number 1 Lincoln had last time around, and imagine would be the case for Loughborough as well. As we said, almost getting a perfect sweep over Rocketeers, barring one game where they saved themselves a little bit of blushes, did Kent. 2 minutes 15 now on the clock, looking to restore this lead. Loughborough Lions, just this extended amount of pressure. Stamina's causing troubles, but ends up getting bumped. Into his rotation, give me sign and sort of slight overcommit. Crookie shot, it's just high and mark. Is there a follow-up? It's from Stamina. DK didn't deal with it, but Missy, a fantastic save on the line, keeps us level, but not for long as Stamina makes it 3-2.
Wonderful play from Loughborough. In return to Lincoln, shutting them down for the first goal in terms of defense. They did not give them a clean one in return to score their third. That is exactly how Loughborough want to play against this Lincoln side. Lincoln at the moment, they are worrying. They are absolutely worrying me with the amount they're overcommitting as well. They are really overextending on their opportunities, which, of course, sometimes works out for them. It's a good offensive side. In terms of defense, when they do overextend, they just let things through, as they did in that last goal. That was bringing it forward. Looks at pass one, blocked out by Turbo. Missed towards the side. Stamina towards the side. DK towards the centre. Blocks it out in towards the centre again. Here comes Bowles. Demos on the play. Stamina Pops it past one. Pops it past Misty. Onto the back post. Turblo can't find the shot. What about Crookie? He can. Off the crossbar. Bows away. But good follow-up from Crookie again. Almost keep the attack going from Loughborough. They've moved back. Catch their breath and catch some boost.
Doesn't quite keep the pressure on. It's most irritating. It's right up in your face, and it just slows down that attack as well. It starts to play on your mental fortitude as the series goes on. Lovely little cut inside from Crookie, but doesn't quite make connection on the flick. Now, counter attack on DK, hunting for a bump treble. So well played there. Deals with it, carries the ball away. Now DK to the backboard. Crookie will pick this up, slows it down, takes it low, flex high, misses too far forward. That's a big challenge there from Bows. Gets it wrong, ball across net, miss, save. It will go in, 11 seconds left, 2 goals for good. Loughborough lines look just about set for game 1.
I think that's a playmaker award going in for Crookie. I believe that is a 3rd assist in the game, very well deserved. But again, as I pointed out earlier, Lincoln overcommitting has been their biggest problem, and against a regimented side like Loughborough, it is going to be a huge problem for them when it comes to attacking upfield. And the important thing for them, they did find 2, almost 3 their goals that they made themselves. So in terms of goal production, it's fine. When it comes to defense, that seems to be the problem for the Lincoln team.
Wasn't exactly the most suffocating of pressure either, but they made a decent amount of chances, did Loughborough. 11 shots from them, a hat-trick for Stamina, 3 assists for Crookie, and Turbo getting a goal and assist. So 100% participation from Loughborough as a whole. They are creating everything for each other, but as you said, Lincoln not covering themselves in glory in defence a couple of times, caught out of position. The one that really stands out for me was the second Loughborough goal where Misty's on the front post and he's not quite on it either. There's a gap between him and that front post, and a tame, easily dealt with ball sneaks past him and ends up into the back of the net. Lincoln just not quite settling into this series, but maybe the same case for them against Warwick. Game 2, looking for improvement. We know that they're capable of it.
But again, Stamina coming onto the bad board. Crookie looking for Turblo. The other side of the pitch. Find him as that's blocked out by Bowles. DK played across field. Bowles will be there. Can't play off the diagonal. Turblo will come through. Defense from Loughborough. Easily transitioning into attack. The diagonal. DK finding the clearance. Here comes Lincoln though. Here comes Bowles. Can't find the second touch. Misty will get the play in towards the sidewall. Second opportunity for the Lincoln offense. DK off the backboard. Misty's there. Blocked out by Crookie. That's a great start for this Lincoln team as they look to get the opening goal very, very quickly.
Asking questions of Loughborough. It didn't really seem like they had the right answers for it. Barely scraping by a deep pass mark there, but nothing spectacular about it, and really a bit of a let-off in the end for us when it comes and goes without an opening goal. Same could be said for game number 1. As Crookie carries into the corner, has some boost when a third of his tank is full. Would have been enough to make a play. The challenge nice and early. Stamina carries from the backboard, looking at ground pain. Out, demo on him. There, quick to challenge. Gets a demo on the backboard. Was there. Misty with the save. Still, we await this opening goal in game number 2. You have to say, what to come from Lincoln.
In terms of the series, yes, it really does. They need to stop the momentum from this Loughborough team. At the moment, Loughborough dangerous themselves. Turblo blocking the midfield out. 2 players from Lincoln looking to challenge, but deciding to back off straight away. Bowles glitches out. Crookie towards net. Turblo can't find the angle. DK to the centre. Here comes Misty. Push forward, Cookie will send it out to the side, fake from Misty, shot on target, just off target. Turbolo pushes it away. No second touch, no second opportunity. Falling for Lincoln. You need to put pressure on Stam, blocked out by Bows. Bows upfield, Cookie towards the center. DK is up, blocking out Misty onto the backboard, but no one's there because of the slight double commit at midfield. Halfway through the game and no one finding the opening goal. Misty dodging straight past that one. Bows looking into the center. Here comes DK. The shot on target can't be saved, and Lincoln will have the opener.
Not a particularly hard taking shot, but it does the job. Stamina too far off the line, can't get back across. Would Turbolo have had that had Stamina not cut across? We will never know. But first blood to Lincoln A. Response needed in this series to that game. One lost twice today. They've gone down again. Found some form of response, but 2 minutes to go to take game number 2. Generally, remarkably, 1 goal not going to be enough to only keep out the team for so long when it is just the 1 goal. Panic, desperation defense does just start to creep in a little bit. It's innate. You can't just remove from your mind. It's all about how you want to deal with that fact. As DK wants to stay low, catches, drive forward, does a 50-50. Opts to leave the high touch from this. Drops it middle. 2 players have committed. Thankfully, Cookie's touch will up the line. Will just carry it wide of net. Sends it long back down. No one up this time either. At the moment, Loughborough sitting a little bit too far away, a little bit too deep stretch, looking for this equaliser. You get a little bit closer to each other if we're going to try and work it down the field the way they have been to their blow. So close to that tie-up, but save late on. Will keep the scores at 1-0.
This has been a much better game from Lincoln. It feels like they've had a game plan on how to deal with the Loughborough offense, and it's starting to come together very, very nicely in this last game. Their rotations are a lot stronger, they're a lot more structured, and Loughborough, much they're structured themselves, they're having a lot tougher time breaking down the defense that Lincoln had. But for a while, it's just a little bit fragile, a little bit vacant. So that's a block out from DK, almost finding a way through with a quick bump. 20 seconds to go, just dropping back. Crookie past 1. Bowles dropping back to pick up the boost. Huge clearance upfield. Blow. And to play from the back. Loughborough coming upfield. They were denied in the upper bracket thanks to a last-second 0-second goal. Can they profit off one here and take back this game? No, they can't. Lincoln ties things up again, and if last series was anything to go by, this is just a terrifying prophecy for Loughborough.
Yeah, shut out in game 2 as well. Not something that I thought I'd be saying throughout the course of this series. 4 shots from Loughborough, but all turned away by Lincoln. They had 6 shots themselves and only 3 saves from Loughborough. So a couple of chances maybe going begging, in the scoreline of game 2, slightly flattering Loughborough, you may say. But the fact of the matter remains 1-1 the current scoreline in the series. Once again, Dragon, we are down to this best of 5 scenario where Lincoln, last time out, started to run away with it a bit.
I think we've had a crash.
Misty, by the looks of things, appears to have left the lobby, so we will have a little bit longer to sort of break down that game number 2, where it felt like a very midfield battle, that one, and neither team really going the full lengths to put an extended amount of pressure on.
It's quite interesting you say that, because usually historically, Loughborough have been a team that enjoy holding the midfield line and very happily do that for a whole 5 minutes, score 1 or 2 goals and hold it there. It's surprising to see them lose a contest like that, where Lincoln they had a game where they almost made 0 defensive mistakes. They were very calm, they were very relaxed, they kept their structure, and Loughborough had a tricky time breaking them down when they did so. The last 2 or 3 minutes of that game was just Lincoln rotating very, very nicely, very quickly, and they managed to find their way past this Loughborough team, as I think we do still have a problem going on with players on the pitch. Unless... Are we playing?
Everyone seems to be moving, but Missy initially didn't go for the kickoff.
Oh, there goes Bowles.
Then, as a result, whoever did go for the kickoff was like, okay, so this isn't happening, and they went past it. And then all of a sudden, Lincoln started approaching the kickoff as if, okay, this is happening. So it looks like we are going to reset the lobby. It seemed as though all of a sudden, just to be safe, we are going to remake the lobby, but it seemed like Lincoln were then ready, and all of a sudden Loughborough weren't quite ready for it. But I'm not 100% sure what's going on. Either way, it was Missy that crashed initially. We are now remaking the lobby, so we'll get this series back underway a little bit, about as quickly as we can, ideally. But is this now mind games from Lincoln? Are they sort of toying with Loughborough here?
I think that last game they struggled enough to the point where this is not them messing with their food. They're not playing with their food. They are genuinely in a struggle against this Loughborough side to see who can score and who can keep their rotations. So I think this is just a really good matchup. This is a very, very close matchup that both teams are making the most of and putting on a show. This is one of those matches that it's not a goal fest. It's not a slugfest of 2 boxers taking one hit after the other and smashing each other's faces in. This is not that type of game. This is more like a chess match where both sides sort of watch the other teams move. They change. They move different pieces. I'm not quite sure about chess analogies, I'll be honest, but you get my point. This is a more tactical matchup than I think we were expecting. And that's okay, because you get to enjoy some quality Rocket League from a completely different perspective of what some might see on the RLCS, where these days it's all about who can score the most goals in just 5 minutes to beat their opposition.
Yeah, it's calculated. It is a game of responses. It's not so much a proactive series as it is at times slightly reactive, which I think if one team's being reactive and one team's being proactive, you're generally going to see that proactive team come out on top. They're the ones with the ideas, are the ones creating space, are generally the quicker of the 2 teams on the field. But at the moment, they seem to be adopting the same sort of cautious approach to the game in what was a little bit more of an open game number 1. To just see the 1 goal in game number 2 was surprising at times. As we get game number 3 underway, are we going to see a similar approach? Stamina, huge chance early on there, beautifully set up by Cookie, can't turn it on target in what was about as good as an open net.
Don't worry, that's a classic Stam moment. He will have a lot of weird defensive mistakes, a lot of weird attacking mistakes, but eventually you'll see the full play of Stamina on display, and it is a sight to see. We open the first minutes. This should be, to be fair, it should be Loughborough 1-0 up. We do not have that at the moment. DK upfield, Crookie out towards his side, stripping out to Turblo, popped out by DK. This is very attacking play from the Lincoln team. I hope their defense is still up to snuff, as it does look so. It does look they are playing good defense, and they cash in on that with Bowles turning around to fight the net.
Where did he go? I mean, I see him now. We ended up sort of level with
he was pushing too early.
Yeah,
he was pushing up a little bit too early.
And on the initial shot there from Misty's perspective, nowhere to be seen. That was as good as open again. I mean, credit to Lincoln. They've taken it because Loughborough had a chance just 9 seconds in and they failed to take theirs. Could be a chance again for DK. That was incredibly awkward by Kruki once more. This time gets away with it.
Lincoln are just searching for as many opportunities as they can get against this Loughborough team. Get themselves as far ahead and not look back. They struggled with that game too, just about managing to pick out the win. This time they just want to make it a little bit more comfortable for the future. Bows. Blocked out. Misty again. Blocked out by Stamina. That's still moving towards net. Crookie has to make a wild save. Hitting off the backboard. And that is almost a stop from Turblo. But DK finds a way underneath. 3:15. And Lincoln are 2-0 up.
Again, Crookie maybe caught out of position there. Turblo too far away from it. Rotation breaking down for Loughborough. And the chances do come for Lincoln. 2 goals up now. And haven't really had to work for them, to be perfectly honest with you. The chances have been given to them. They've just taken them on a silver platter. Thank you very much. There's your tip. We will be on our way. Game number 3, 2 goals up. Looking to dispatch Loughborough the same way they did Warwick. We're going to do their defensive duties first. As DK makes a save, Missy can clear. As far as the halfway line, Cookie catches. DK with no boost in the tank does get a 50-50 that at least allows teammates to rotate back in, pick up some boost, and settle in for what's to come.
Half the game to go. 2 goals required for Loughborough. They will not want to go 2-1 down in the series. DK onto the backboard. They'll have to be cleared away by Stamina. They might have caught them off guard a little bit. Lincoln. Bows comes forward. Crookie will play that. Smash upfield. DK. Off the ceiling. Turblo out the way. Here comes Misty. Flick past 1. Can he get past 2nd? No, he can't. He will lock that out. Bows off the diagonal. Blocked out by Stam. Lincoln have to move back. Crookie gets himself awkward, but still makes the save. But that from Misty is a phenomenal 50-50 to find the net, and Lincoln take a 3-0 lead.
Defenders' nightmares abounds off the crossbar. Do you commit to it? Do you wait to see where it goes? That touch could turn it in for all you know. Well, in the end, Stamina could do nothing but watch as that lead just got greater, and does get back to deal with Rookie's shot. He turns the second one on. A quick response there from Turbo does take that deficit down just a little bit. Not much time lost either.
That is such an important goal for Turbo and for this Loughborough side. The number 3 seeds facing off against the number 5 seeds. So in this story, Lincoln very much the underdogs, and they are on an absolute crazy run. Rookie sent away. Turbo has to stay on the back line. Number 3 seeds in a little bit of peril there. They could be looking at going 2-1 down in this series. Bows, the back lines, Crookie, shot on in towards net, dropping it down. Stam can't find the shot. What about Turblo? That's towards the back post. Crookie is there, just in the nick of time to make it 3-2.
What looked oh so comfortable for Lincoln now leaves them with a goal lead and a minute 9 on the clock. Can they hold on? Or will Loughborough force overtime at minimum here? There's plenty of time for them to get 2 goals. Actually, we get one straight off of a kickoff. Should the next one go their way?
Oh.
And Turbo denies that restoration of the 2-goal lead as the ball begun to creep over the line. Bows scrambles back. Unfortunately for Loughborough, well set up, but no one to sort home into an empty net. They weren't expecting that chance, and that there has been the difference between the 2 teams in this game. Loughborough static, flat-footed, not expecting to be given an open net like that. Lincoln have already scored 2 in a similar fashion. And now looking to counter 20 seconds
opportunity.
left. High ball into the air. DK
Oh, save!
And Turbo with a big save. Danger's not clear. High in the air. Stamina out to Cookie. Tries to put a shot on, but straight at DK. Mouse double commit. Misty to the side. Shot on target. That'll do it. Lincoln take game number 3. But it was sketchy for them in this latter stages of game 3.
What a game we've had. I talked about how last during the series break, or the game break, this was a chess match. This one has been a little bit closer to the boxing match that I alluded to. Lincoln have just been absolutely going after the Loughborough team. They've been a little bit less structured, but still just enough as Crooklyn finds a consolation goal on 0 seconds. That might be foreshadowing something later, fingers crossed. But for Lincoln, that's just another goal they let in, but still take the game. Solar, this Lincoln team are having a wild ride at the moment.
Yep, they certainly are. And should they come out of this series, they're going to have to wait just a little bit longer for a chance at revenge against Roehampton. They're in the grand final, 4-3 win over UEA Blue Jays, knocking them to the lower bracket final. So, of course, one of these two teams going on to play UEA. Loughborough will be looking for revenge against them, as it was UEA that knocked them into the lower bracket from an upper bracket semi-final match. Another game at 7 there. And Lincoln, of course, will have to go through UEA to get another pot at Roehampton. Game number 3 settled 4-3 in the end. That buzzer beater goal. Not enough for Loughborough Lions. Lincoln making it start on the front foot again in game number 4. Early shot registered, but not one that I would really consider to be of any importance. Will, of course, make the save regardless. It's a high touch from the sidewall. Found its way up target, easily dealt with. First, this little sniff at goal really for Lincoln in blue. Cookie waits in the back row, long clear out. Turbo, quickest to that one, turns it on, and Misty is back in time to make the save. A lethal counter-attack, not fatal.
This was the point of exit for Loughborough in the last splits competition. As you said, they're looking to avenge a loss against UEA if they move on, but they are 3 games away from that. And at the moment, Lincoln look all the better, and they only need 2. Dropping down to Bowes, the shot blocked out. This has been an excellent response from Loughborough. They are stuck on defense, yes, but the structure is back. They look a lot calmer again. They will find the opportunities, they will make the opportunities as Turbolo wins the 50-50, drops into a mill, dropping down from Crookie. Here comes Stamina, shot goes high, that will drop down straight to the path of Turbolo. Loughborough score the opener, and it's a very good sign that Turbolo Pulsar is firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, very awkward read in the end for Lincoln, but a little bit better positioning it does get dealt with. Either way, well spotted by Stamina, a perfect read from Turbolo to give Loughborough the opening goal in game number 4. 3:30 left to go. So much time for Lincoln to respond. Cookie plays it out right. Bowes will be first to it. Free flip hands it over to Stamina, who in turn gives possession up rather easily to DK, who won't be dispossessed so easily. A 50-50 through Crookie. He's then demoed by Bowes. Bowes was hunting for a second on Turbo. DK gets the better of the 50-50. No boost. Looks for the bump. Makes Stamina awkward, but I love the doink there from Turbo. Will send it right down the way. Stamina maybe takes a little too long. Gets the fake. He could have maybe just shot directly on net as soon as he got there. And it would have been a 2-goal lead.
Oh, what about this time? Could have gone for a shot there. Decides to go high, and that is the right choice this time. I actually think that genuinely was. I think it was Misty back. Yeah, I think that's it. If that's on target, Misty's just close enough to push that high. Going for the backboard and bringing the impact point where it hits the backboard. A little bit close to him. Puts Misty a little bit out of contention for that ball. That is a very good play from Loughborough. 2-0 lead, Stamina looking to make it 3, and Bowles just caught in exactly the wrong position. And that is number 3.
Yeah, comes down from the back where he comes
Oh, yeah.
a little bit too early. Landing, momentum carries just that little bit too far away, capitalised on by Loughborough Lions. Very quick fire double from themselves. Stamina gets his first goal of game number 4, 2 assists already as well, 100% goal participation from himself. Crookie, by the way, 40 points at the moment, no notable stats, just in cruise control here, enjoying the show that Stamina and Turbo are putting on with 2 minutes left to go here in game number 4. It's all too comfortable for Loughborough.
Yeah, Crookie doesn't need to do much. He can just vibe for this match. It seems like Stam and Turbo are the ones stepping up. When your teammates are popping off, just let them cook. Everything will be fine. Turbo on the back line. Misty will push it forward again, putting pressure on this Loughborough team, but they are dealing with things perfectly fine as this Lincoln side is just giving them so much time on the back lines. One faked out, Bowser make the challenge, but it's still possession Loughborough. That's cleared upfield from Crookie. Turbo. Tried to block it down on the back line. Bowser, that is a great demo. Looking for a second on Stam. Doesn't find it. Great play from Stam just to calmly wait out the bump and demo. Ends up getting rid of. Lincoln, they are struggling just a little bit. Loughborough have found the lead and they are absolutely sitting on it, as that could have been a phenomenal redirect from Misty.
Something as comfortable as a 3-goal lead. You do want to sit down on it too. 50 seconds to go. Happy to bide their time. A long clear from Turbo just makes Lincoln's life harder. Rookie down the corner, looking to get this middle. It's a lovely little drop. Misty first to examination, not opting to dive for that one, or to give Lincoln any way back into the Rookie from the ceiling. The stats have jumped up, you may well be able to see it, save there up to 154, so he's decided to turn up for game number 4. He's, sat forward in his chair just a little bit, but I can imagine it's still a pretty comfortable showing for him. Misty on that free jump, won't make contact. Crookie with a high flick, open net to aim at, doesn't make contact, doesn't really matter in the end, but Crookie really should be, capping off game number 4 with a goal there. Good save, ball has stayed alive, he might still get his chance.
No.
But again, it's all too easy for Loughborough in that game 4. We are tied up in this series going into game 5.
It was just a fun time from Crookie. 212 points in the end from what was 40 after the 3rd goal was scored. So getting involved a little bit to get some points next to his name, but that's what Loughborough needs to continue to do. They've frustrated Lincoln to no end during that game and just held their defensive rotations perfectly fine. They've held off any attacks. Lincoln, on the other hand, they've lost their teeth a little bit. They've just not gone after this Loughborough defense when they've sort of calmed things down and slowed the pace of the match. Lincoln did not go after them this time. They were just sitting too far back and letting Loughborough do what they want in terms of the transition.
Yeah, 6 shots, but it never really seemed like any of them were particularly threatening, or that for a moment they even looked like they were going to go in. All too easy to deal with. And eventually that physicality to sort of break up those rotations, give themselves a chance, did start to come through, but it was all just a little bit too late, and it seemed like they were picking off the wrong player at times, because eventually someone was always there to deal with it, and the chance wouldn't end up coming. At that point, you're just overextending, you're using a lot of boost for little to no rewards. And again, it was simply too easy for Loughborough. Now we move into game number 5. And maybe one of the most crucial games in the series, especially, well, either way, really. In fact, you're looking at if it's a 2-2, then whoever wins it is in a very, very good position to take the series. But even as we saw between Warwick and last time, it was one that was an absolute must-win for Warwick. They just never really got going.
Yeah, it's a tricky position to lose game 5 in a game in a 7-match set. Neither team will be wanting to end up in that position at all, but at the moment, as things go, Solar, I'm thinking Loughborough just have the momentum that might get them in that position, get themselves a little bit more comfy in this series. Big push from Turbo. And I reckon my money is just about on them, even if Misty does find a way to put a second touch on that. That would be phenomenal.
In Rocket League and shutting out Lincoln in game before suggests that it's firmly in Loughborough's favour.
This is better.
Tricky challenge there by Misty. Turns on this one too, just trying to get up in their faces, rush any touches that they're going to take and just make it that little bit harder to break out. They've done so eventually, but again, it gives themselves that little bit longer to deal with any counter from Loughborough. How they've set up well is another story entirely. Clouds clears the corner, shot from Turbo is high, and that's a big touch to clear. Clouds
phenomenal
counter, lovely touch, backboard, 1-0 Lightning.
Great work from Misty on the back lines. And Lincoln, I think they have the stream on because I think they heard my point in between the games of needing to get in Loughborough's face. That was what was working for them in their previous 2 wins in this series. And at the moment it's working for them again. This Loughborough side have had a few opportunities on the Lincoln net. But when Lincoln have wanted to hold a little bit of pressure, hold the lines, they've been able to by getting in Loughborough's face and challenging them earlier. Bowles dropping it down. Misty wins the 50-50. That towards the back line. Misty's up again. The shot on net finds a second. That is good work from Lincoln to find the net for a second time with half the game still to go.
One of these tug of war series, as that could not have been placed much better from Misty. Right down onto the base of that right hand post. No chance for Krookie to get across and keep it out. Look to respond off kick-off and infield pass. Finds stamina, catches beautifully, flicks it on 2-1.
Absolutely sublime kick-off play from Loughborough. Finds past one and that stamina using an absolute matrix dodge to get around the last defender trying to demo him. Puts it in the back of the net. 1 goal deficit. So simple to get back in, but it's still so much drama to just score 1 goal. The back lines, Crookie has a shot, blocked down by DK, who's coming in the centre. It's stamina. Again, Loughborough starting to hold the lines. Watch for the siege offense come through as stamina takes it past 1. Goes the long way around that DK will like a lot, and it gets the challenge in towards the centre. Turbo is second best to that challenge. Fly out. Lincoln, opportunity. Misty can't drop it down. That'll fly in. That might go in. Stamina lets it through. Crookie has the goal. 2-2. That's the equaliser.
I think that kind of pinches it out, really, doesn't it? It goes a little bit too far. Misty committed to already upfield was DK. It's crumbling defence there. Not much foundation to build it on. All tied up. Now he's off the ceiling. He flips too early. I think he thought that Krookie had that covered. He ran out of boost. No touch made. Maybe a half chance for Lincoln to restore their lead. Does sneak away. Doink on target. Easy for Turbo. Pops high. Goes for the ceiling. Not enough boost to make it double commit. Well, commit and a half, really. Krookie goes out of it. Stamina with a touch on target turn away. A minute to go in game number 5. All tied up in the game. High up in the series, Stamina pre-jumps from the ceiling, Misty turns into the crossbar, and now the counter's on. Bows looking for the bump, and Turbo again deals with that ball. A demo cookie and a shot high, beats Stamina, only has to watch as it bounces back out, and clear. 40 seconds now, and it really could go either way.
Everything hangs in the balance, not only the series, but this game. Turbo, Misty coming up. That's onto the backboard. Great read by Turbo, sending it out wide in towards the center. Bowles lets it drop, but here comes Stamina taking control. DK back upfield, trying to get a block, does so. All pressure on Loughborough now in the last 15 seconds. Can they take it to overtime? Can they get out, escape, and find the net themselves? Here's the opportunity, blocked out by DK. Here's the chance, doesn't follow up. Turbo, go under, it has bounced up. This is danger for either team. It's still up and available. Crookie in towards the center, blocked out by DK. That will drop. Stamina, I think, was hoping that he didn't end up touching that ball and keeping it up. But overtime, where I believe only the second time this evening, it'll be Lincoln's second one on stream.
That's such a vital block there from DK. That touch was landing right in the path of Turbo, who you can imagine was ready to turn a shot on net with 0 seconds firmly by that point on the clock. Last time we saw overtime, did indeed involve Lincoln. It went their way too against Warwick. It's the nail in the coffin effectively for the series. There was one other game played from that point, but Warwick never really seemed to recover. Can Lincoln do that again? DK shot is high, bows on the ball. Stamina just gets in front. That's a big commitment.
Breakaway.
The shot. DK has to make the touch, makes it. Immediate save and no follow-up in the end from Loughborough. I think if they'd been a little bit quicker to that one than Lincoln had in the defence, we could well have seen Game 5 go their way.
But it won't. Both teams having great opportunities in this overtime as we are only a minute in. Stamina going for the net. Shot. It's just... What? How is that not saved? But Stamina will take that. I need to watch the replay on this. Misty just hesitating, I think. Oh! He got caught. As soon as Stam was going to take the shot on the ball, he went to turn to push out and make the challenge. Realised, oh, I'm not going to make it in time. Tries to turn back. But not enough time left as the ball flies into the net, and Loughborough will take the overtime and take the lead in the series. They are on match point.
At this level, in that position, there can be no hesitation, no doubt in your mind as to whether you wait for the shot or you challenge. Misty made that mistake. Expected it to come quicker, I think, in the end. And as Stamina started to slow it down, then thought to challenge, didn't recognize just how capable that Stamina was of pulling the trigger at that point. By the time he did realize, all too little, too late. Lincoln now hanging on by a thread. Game number 6, Neo Tokyo coming up, and Loughborough 5 minutes away from the lower bracket final in a pot at UEA Blue Jays.
So, does this series have another twist in the tail? That is the only question. I wouldn't be surprised. Lincoln have been up to that challenge, and they will absolutely be up for it again against this Loughborough team that they've had the number on twice in this series so far. This could absolutely go the full distance, and that's what Lincoln are hoping for. That's what they're playing for. Stam sends it out wide, Bowles off the side wall. Drop it down into the centre. Crookie, shot. Here's Stam looking to drop it down. Demoed out the play. Crookie, the only one who was going to be ready for any form of drop down assist. Misty goes wide. Okay, into the centre. Tableau will calmly take it out wide again, but this Lincoln team are ferocious. They're going after everything once again. Not scared in the face of elimination. They shouldn't be. They have been absolutely amazing on stream today. locked out. Bows passes one. That's a dangerous play. Stan will clear it away. Shot locked out. Misty towards the backboard. Now Ward's pull down. Crookie is equal to that. Very nicely put away. And DK keeping the pressure on the Loughborough side, but slowly but surely this Lincoln team are running out of boost and they have to retreat as they do. That was an opportunity in front of net, but Misty could not make the most of it. Just needed the big yellow pads to even have a chance.
Liquid gold, needed cider, being a goal or a save, potentially a game or the series here if you're considering Lincoln's point of view. It's terrible. That's awkward in the end. He's trying to play that slow. It's nearly crept in the turn wide by DK. Still on the hunt. High ball
Crookie.
followed by Crookie to the backboard. Turbo.
Oh,
he tries
nice.
it again and nearly pays off once more. This time it's Bows to deny him, but it's something that is quite clearly catching out that first man for Lincoln. And Misty nearly does it down the other end, draws in two, and Bows has got an empty net to slam it home into Lincoln. 1-0 up in game 6.
That is two Loughborough players sitting on that back post waiting for a shot that just never came until it was 2 meters in front of them. Unfortunately at that point, both of them having to go for it. Plays in for Lincoln. So it looks like this story is not as simple as I think Loughborough would have hoped it would be. Last game 7 they ended up losing just about to UEA. Yes it was UAA in the upper bracket. This point last season, they also lost the UEA at this opportunity. Lincoln look to be trying to punch their spot in finals day. From the hardest position, having to win 2 in a row at the end of the best of 7, where all your tricks, they have been played, all the cards have been dealt. You sort of understand who you are up against, but I tell you what, if you take out who's at the poker table, you will win the game.
No one else to take those chips away from you. Misty just has to send that home. It's the reverse combination opening the door for each other. First time Misty drew in 2, Bows to slam home. This time it's Bows clearing out the last man. A comfortable air dribble from Misty puts Lincoln 2-0 up. Bows, we got a little bit low on the boost. Managed to deal with the first shot. Turbo sends this middle. Crookie's up. His touch is high. Stamina looking for the double and turned away by Misty. Now the counter comes on. DK shut down by Turbo. Not a lot of boost left for himself. Bows up first to the ball. That was Crookie that was challenging shot DK from range, and all the edge taken off of it. Time still ticks away, and we're looking for a response from Loughborough in game 6. Otherwise, we will see Champions Field in the final match of the day in this lower bracket semi-final. Misty could well send them there. Lincoln 3-0 up with 44 seconds to go.
I think people are starting to buy tickets for the biggest tie of the season so far. Champions Field already filling up with the eggs in the audience. And those watching from home on a stream. Lincoln, they are 40 seconds away from that all-important Game 7 that gives them life in this competition. Misty, blocked away by Crookie. DK can't find a way through, but that's okay for this Lincoln side. They'll be fine with no more goals falling into the net. All they need is to keep the challenges going, keep the shots coming, and hope that Loughborough stay on their back lines. Here's an opportunity though. Loughborough find themselves up front. Turbo past 1, past a second. He has an opportunity off the sidewall. Stamina into the middle. But I think that's just taken up a little bit too much time. That would have been a wondrous solo play. A wondrous slow play against this Lincoln side. But it won't happen. Tickets punched to Champions Field. Welcome to Game 7.
Lincoln battling back from a game down, one that they absolutely had to win here on Neo Tokyo, and they did it in fashion. Bows 6 saves on top of the 1 credited assist, 2, you could really say, for the demo that allowed Misty to get his brace, and a goal for himself as well. 700 score, and nearly getting more than the entirety of Loughborough combined. A huge MVP performance from Bows in game number 6 as Lincoln force game 7. What a series we have here. Could not be ending tonight's stream in a more tense fashion. Of course, we started with 6 teams tonight. We will be left with 3. Loughborough looking for revenge against UEA. They would have to beat Lincoln here to get there. And Lincoln looking for revenge on Roehampton, waiting in the grand final. Not only having to beat Loughborough, but go through UEA on finals day as well. It all comes down to this final matchup. One team advances, one team goes home and are done for Newell Spring in 2023. And it's so hard to call. Of course, Loughborough took game 1. Lincoln took the next 2. It was Loughborough to go 3-2 up. But here we are after Lincoln 3-0 win in game number 6. Champions Field, game 7 underway. Who have you got?
It's such a tricky prediction. We have Loughborough, a team that is used to the heavy heights of the podium, as well as finals days. And we have Lincoln, who across both UK university competitions have never been to the dizzying heights of even as close as this level before. They have outperformed every expectation, the number 5 seeds, to even get close. I mean, it's only technically, if they go out here, it's only an improvement of 1 seed, but still, I don't think anyone would have thought they would have got that close to Loughborough, that close to Roehampton. And they are proving their worth, they're proving their muster, as Misty almost opens the scoring. Crookie, upfield, DK, down towards centre, Stam, trying to look for Turblo for a moment. 1 minute gone, Turblo into the centre, Crookie shot just off target. Crookie keeps it alive though, waiting for Stam to get into the play. On towards the backboard, kept alive again, looking for the bump on Bowles, won't find it. But still, the opportunity beckons. Misty in the way, sends it wide. And Loughborough, they're denied the opener so far. This Lincoln team has started to fray a little bit on defense against the Loughborough side. The shot comes in. What a save again! Lincoln are holding together. They're holding strong. Loughborough can't find a way through.
It's only a matter of time before they do so. Crookie, so close there. DK wasn't making it with the shot wide. How much longer can you deal with that for one of those sneaks in? Down the right end of the field this time around, Lincoln, not for long. That's not particularly well played by Misty. Stamra could see him for a long way there, still plays it into them. Find themselves stuck in the own half again, but Turblo commits with no boost. Stamina forcing to save his last man. Bows doesn't have the control. Nerves settling in for both teams. Misplays just creeping through. Neither team punished just yet. Bows good for the flip reset. Did he get it? No, he did not. Doesn't help him any further with the 50-50, but remains at the halfway point. Loughborough a little bit high up here, almost in line with each other, trying to play the offside trap. There's no offsides here in Rocket League, boys. You need to sort out that rotation, and they have done. It's Lincoln that are having rotation problems now. Demo from Turbo, cleared by Bows in the corner by Stabra, shot from Crookie and saved by DK. Still game 7 has no goal between these two teams.
Heartbreak will face one of these teams, especially if it only goes down to 1 goal. Last 2 minutes to go. And this is so tight. Both of them have had their opportunities. Neither of them have been taken yet. Stamina, locked out by Misty. That falls for Crookie. In towards the centre. No one there for Loughborough. They're just waiting for the right opportunity, not trying to overcommit. It's probably the smarter choice in game 7, but if the goal beckons, surely you go for it. Misty, trying to beat Crookie. Does so. Past 1. Has the shot towards Stamina. Decides to go for the pass. That goes wide for Bowles. Stamina calmly puts it into Crookie. Turbo goes high. That will drop down. Misty can't find the touch. Here comes Stamina. Can't find it on the top shelf. Here comes again Crookie. 1 minute 22 to go. Loughborough have the lead. And it's still all to play for, though.
Ride your luck for so long. Eventually it will run out. That's done here. Crookie picks his spot. Loughborough Lions 1-0 up with 1 minute and 22 to go. Lincoln, you were made of carbon against Warwick. What are you now? Can you handle the pressure? Will you become diamond? Or will this all crumble and burn down like coal? That's an awkward touch. Misty has to clear. Does so quite comfortably. Stamina sits a little bit deeper. Loughborough Lions know what they have. The eggs are in their basket, but they have to hold them close, prevent them from cracking. See if they can cash in come spring season. The touch into the middle. Stamina looking for Crookie. Not to leave that for Turbo. Stamina shooting opportunity. Tame. DK turns away, but only back to Stamina. Misty high to the wall. DK, not particularly great touch, but bows is quickest to it. Looks for the dunk. Gets it into that corner. They're causing problems, but no one able to shoot.
Surely.
Plays it slow. Leaves it for Stamina. It's so patient. It's so calm, cool, headed. And now with 10 seconds to go, it's do or die, and it's gonna be die. Loughborough, the Lions, feast on Lincoln. 7 seconds to go, 2-0 up. They should be well on their way to the lower bracket final.
Cold as ice from Stamina to get it through and finish off the play. Lincoln were chasing the game the last minute or so, trying to get through. Commiserations to them. They've been incredible competitors. They've gone on a wondrous run, but it won't be enough. Loughborough, former champions several times before, and they will find themselves on finals day once again. And they fit and face off against a familiar foe in UEA awaits. My goodness, Solo, what a dramatic evening we have just watched.
Yeah, I mean, that was utterly wild. It was end to end, both teams really playing well. A couple of mistakes are early on in the series that were tidied up, and it was just a struggle for control and fighting on the front foot. So well played from both teams, and ultimately it is Loughborough Lions to come out on top. But Lincoln, a lot to be proud of there. DK coming in as a sub as well with Dave G. Present in chat, but not present on the field. A fantastic effort, a really, really good run from them in the playoffs, but ultimately taken down in Game 7, I might add, by two very, very good teams.
Absolutely. And in fact, before we cut to the break, we've got an interview from Stamina next. Loughborough to finals day. Lincoln, absolutely phenomenal competitors from start to finish of this competition, and it ends in the heartbreak of the Game 7. But after this break, as I said, Stamina will be joining us for an interview. The Loughborough legend joins us next.
and welcome back for the final time this evening. We have just wrapped up that lower bracket semi-final between Loughborough Lions and Lincoln A, going all the way to game number 7. I'm Solar, joined by RW Dragon and Stam as well from Loughborough. First, congratulations on that one into the lower bracket final, and pop at UEA. How are you feeling about that?
We're excited. I mean, I think we kind of trolled the last time we played. It was a game 7, so I'm hoping this time we can actually like not fumble it and beat them.
Yeah, the UEA did leave it late to avoid that fumble from you guys and make the most of it. But in terms of this is Lincoln's side, you did cut it close in quite a few games, but you managed to run away with the last one. How were they as competitors?
Well, I feel like Lincoln are like they're very mechanical, right? So I feel like if you're being sloppy, they will punish it. But I do back us. Like if we're playing our game, I back us every time. And we had a few games where maybe we weren't playing our game too well. So, but we got the end result, so that's what that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. And 3-2 up in the series, comes back 3-3 with that 3-0 win on Neo Tokyo. What was said between those two games? Did Crimson, your coach, have sort of a big input there, or was it sort of between the players?
Yeah, I mean, recently we've been getting Crimson in, and she's been a really big help to kind of like, I feel like we kind of get down a lot as a team. And she kind of just tells us to like reset and, kind of play our game. And yeah, we kind of just took a minute, regrouped, and then, yeah, started talking more. That was the main thing, actually, talking more. And then, yeah, we managed to win.
So if you make it past UEA, you have a bracket reset against Roehampton. Thinking about that adventure that you have to go on, how are you feeling, Stam? How is the rest of the team feeling with the gauntlet you have ahead of you?
I mean, I think if we beat UEA, I feel like we were playing well. So I'm going to be very warm. So I feel like, that's a big advantage coming from lowers, I think. So for the first series, I think we back ourselves. And then, yeah, I mean, we'll see, I guess. I honestly still back us to win, but Roehampton have had our number most of the time, so we'll see.
Well, congratulations again for the win. Thank you for joining us there as well, Salmon. Good luck in the finals day. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on and to watch that series as well. Played admirably, and again, good luck.
Cheers, thank you.
That will wrap us up for the evening. It has been quite the stream for Rocket League, a 4-1 win that we saw with Lincoln over Warwick. What some would consider to be an upset, and they went all the way to Game 7 against Loughborough Lions, who ultimately come out on top. We've just got 3 teams remaining. Loughborough UEA will play each other in the lower bracket final, and as Dragon said, bracket reset needed for one of those two teams when they come up against Roehampton in that grand final. Thank you everyone for watching the Rocket League Amazon University Esports UK and Ireland for Spring 2023. A huge thanks to our sponsors Prime Video, Prime Student and Omen for making this possible. We will see you all for those finals, so enjoy your week. Make sure you don't miss those. Good night.